Hey everybody, Andy from StarWars.com here at Lucasfilm headquarters. Dudes, that finale, right? Oh my gosh. Kanan is blind, Maul is back, Vader and Ahsoka? What? Let's just stop wasting time and get to the episode. Rebels Recon starts right now. Following Yoda's instructions, Ahsoka, Kanan, and Ezra head to Malachor, only to discover a Sith temple and another Inquisitor as well.
3 Jedi.
Separated from the group, Ezra finds himself aligning with an unlikely ally in the hopes of capturing a Sith holocron. With the Sith holocron in their possession, Maul reveals his true self, leading to the ultimate showdown between the Inquisitors, the Jedi, and Darth Vader himself, leaving nobody the same at the end.
Ahsoka.
Anakin. This week's finale left us with a bunch of questions that needed to be answered. I sat down with cast and crew to talk about what Maul's been up to since we last saw him, what Kanan's gonna do now that he's been blinded, and how that whole Vader and Ahsoka thing came together. Watch.
Last time we saw Darth Maul, he was getting his butt kicked by Palpatine. What has he been up to since then?
You may have read Son of Dathomir. We continued his thread a little bit there, and a lot of people noticed that he did not die at the end of Son of Dathomir. People thought, oh, this is going to finish the Darth Maul story. Well, no, we weren't done with Darth Maul just yet.
Following the Clone War, Maul has had it tough. He knew now that the Emperor had all-out power, he couldn't be as overt as he had in the past. So really, he had to go into hiding if he wanted to survive.
A lot of thought went into, do we bring him back at all for this? But it just seemed like one of those things that was appropriate because so many people invested time into Clone Wars and that story and that character, and it was unresolved.
What was it like stepping back into Maul's shoes? Or should I say
he doesn't have shoes
his
anymore.
Robot legs?
His robot legs. It was really fun. I mean, the thing that we always try to do with Maul is to bring something new to the character every time we revisit him. Going into this, trying to figure out what was the new ingredient, and I think he has a level of sincerity now that he maybe didn't have before. When he is fooling Ezra, when he's pretending to be this old, frail man, part of that has got to be the truth about his frailty, about what his intentions are toward Ezra, all those things.
Ezra seems really tempted by Maul in this episode. Do you think he has any idea of what he's really getting himself into?
No, I don't think he has any idea, really. He sees the power that Maul has. Maul sees the little opening and is like, I'm gonna take advantage of that in Ezra, that willingness to explore the dark side.
Maul seems to have plans for making Ezra his apprentice. What are his motivations now?
I think Maul is obsessed with legacy. You know, he's come to the realization that he's the last of his particular kind. Mother Talzin is gone. His brother is gone.
When Obi-Wan stopped him in The Phantom Menace, it changed his entire line of where he might have been. And actually, we had an earlier version of the script where Ahsoka asked Maul who Vader is, and his response is simply, who I should have been.
Maul is at a point where I think he sees his life isn't going to necessarily be one of power. This episode is almost like his last-ditch effort at regaining some sense of power and control. But Maul is, as he tells Ahsoka, he is in his end game. That's what he's playing now.
Kanan is blinded by Maul, but seems to recover and sort of gain his sight. How will this affect his abilities going forward?
Well, as you know, one of the very first things a youngling learns is how to rely on other senses. Because Kanan went through traditional Jedi training, it is a fundamental skill that he has.
I think as time goes on, Kanan will become more reliant on the Force to see. I think he'll be able to see wider and broader, and perhaps not only things that you see with your eyes.
It's a make or break moment. You quit trying completely because it's too hard, or you accept the reality that you're in. To have your sight taken away and to feel like half the man you used to be is not going to be something that's easy for him. It's definitely going to be a process, and if he comes through, I guarantee you he'll be a stronger Jedi for it. But it's a big if.
How long have you been thinking about this confrontation between Ahsoka and Vader?
I've been thinking about this confrontation for a very long time, since way before Star Wars Rebels, actually. Dave and I had a conversation several years ago, and Dave told me that it probably wouldn't be a good thing for Ahsoka.
The scene with him and her is something that I've played out in my head for a decade, in many different places, locations, for many different reasons. The confrontation between Ahsoka and Vader really represents something important to us, especially because people wanted to see it.
Whether she's alive or whether she's not, I just want to thank the fans. It's been exciting to watch fans really take to her over the years.
It was a great moment, and I hope I did it well. I hope people like it, and I hope it does justice for the fans' appreciation of the character. That's the biggest thing that I'm concerned about. I hope I've done well for them.
Thank you for joining me, Chopper. We have some very important business to discuss. Now, when I first hired you at the start of the season, I thought you would be good for the business. Bring up morale, but lately you've been acting up, so we're gonna have to reassign you. If you go outside, you're gonna see what I mean.
Bye, buddy.
Bye.
Bye, Chopper. Bye, Chopper. Chopper! Wait! I love you.
Well, that was overly dramatic.
Where'd all this steam come from?
This entire season, I have been ambushing the Lucasfilm Story Group's resident South American Canadian Paulo Hidalgo to ask him your Star Wars questions. And to be honest, I'm kind of gonna miss the guy during hiatus. So let's check back in with him one more time to ask him a few of your pressing Rebels questions. Hey, Pablo. Hey. It's the finale, so I have 2 questions for you this week.
All right, wait on me.
All right, number 1. Ishan Nigam asks, if a Jedi falls to the dark side, does that by default make them a Sith?
A Sith is actually something you have to study to become. You can only become a Sith by learning from a Sith Lord. So if a Jedi falls to the dark side, they're just a Jedi who's fallen into the dark side. Being on the dark side doesn't automatically make you a Sith.
So it's very much like how Jedi have to be trained to be Jedi.
Exactly. It's a process you have to go through.
Okay. Thanks, Pablo. Moving on. Kalish Synth asks, what species is the new Inquisitor?
The new one that we just saw in the finale, the 8th brother, is a Torellian Django jumper, the same species as Cassie Cryar from the Clone Wars episode where Ahsoka loses her lightsaber.
Awesome. Thanks for that, Pablo.
No problem. See you, Andy.
Later. Even though we're taking a break until Season 3, you can still tweet your questions to @StarWars using the hashtag RebelsRecon and we'll answer what we can online. Now, in honor of the season finale, I have a special surprise for you. I rounded up the cast and crew to talk about what they loved most about Season 2 and what they're looking forward to most about Season 3. Check it out.
What was your favorite moment of Season 2?
Oh boy.
So many great moments in Season 2.
Oh my gosh.
There's a lot of exciting stuff that happens in Season 2.
While it's also recent, I just can't pick.
Getting blinded by Maul, probably. That might sound
I mean,
weird.
it sucks, but it's big.
Yeah, but I'm not really Kanan, so when I'm reading that, I'm just like, oh my god, that's great.
I love Ketsu. I think she's so awesome. And she looks awesome, and she's great.
I really loved the Kallus Zeb dynamic. What I think about this is now it puts something into play that I don't think a lot of people predicted, and now it makes Kallus's character a lot more interesting to watch.
Personally and sort of selfishly, I really enjoyed the moment when Zeb was eaten by the Jupa and dragged around underground.
Season 2 has a lot of abstract places in it. Both Malachor and Attilan are very different to Imperial backgrounds. It still ideally feels like Star Wars, but is different to stuff you've seen before. So yeah, a lot of Season 2 is full of just really weird looking stuff.
I really loved how we were able to develop everyone's character and show backstory.
I like a lot of the episodes. I think they all have unique stories, even episodes that I know people on the team tell me fans call filler episodes. They'll be surprised how important those episodes are later, I'll say that.
What are you looking forward to most about Season 3?
Season 2 is so great, but Season 3, some really juicy stuff happens.
Season 2 is very dark and Empire-ish. They beat us down really bad, and Season 3 is sort of how do you react to that beating.
It's very clear that everything has to change for everyone in Season 3. No one's going to come back from Malachor and sort of just brush it off. It's too big, so there's obviously new looks for effectively the whole crew. The only person that looks the same is Chopper.
We end on a very ominous note where Ezra has the opportunity, he's basically given a new source of power, or what he might perceive as power, which I think is going to intrigue a lot of audience members.
I really am curious to see how far they're going to let the powers of the Jedi be expressed. I mean, I feel like we've just touched the tip of the iceberg right now.
Specifically with Sabine, she gets to go on some very crazy adventures with people that you might not expect.
I'm excited about the relationship with Maul and where that goes.
I want to see how Kanan gets along having been blinded. That is an incredible challenge that he has, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how those characters change.
You know, over the course of the next season, we're going to start seeing more and more recognizable elements. We're going to see more of the rebellion that we recognize in Episode 4 and in Rogue One taking shape in Rebels.
Something big is going to happen that I think people really, really want. And I know that I've wanted it for a while, and we figured out a way to do it. It's a very important moment in Star Wars, an important moment for Star Wars fans, especially longtime diehard Star Wars fans. So that's going to be something, and you will definitely learn more about that at Celebration coming up, because I'm going to talk about it specifically.
Thanks for watching this season of Rebels Recon. We'll be back later this year for Season 3. In the meantime, check out our episode guide for Twilight of the Apprentice on StarWars.com, or download the Star Wars app for Rebels gifts, emojis, and stickers. And if you miss me, rewatch this season of Rebels Recon right here, and I'll see you this summer in London for Star Wars Celebration.